Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey guys, we're gonna
Hello.
wait just a couple minutes to let people jump on here. It's not quite 12 yet, so we're gonna wait for a couple more people to jump on, but thank you so much for joining. Hi Aaron, Ashley, Ben, Brandon, Kathy, Lindsay, Peter. Nice to see you guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi Sherry.
Chris
Hi
Long.
Rebecca.
We have a pretty big group today, Nina.
Absolutely. And more people jumping on. That's awesome to see.
Yeah, we're just going to give it a few minutes. We know we're just past 11 o'clock here. We'll just give it another minute here, and we'll go ahead and get started.
I forget that we're in different time zones.
Yeah, I know, right? You were probably like, wait a minute, 11 o'clock. Oh, Chris Haynes is on here now too. I'm looking for his name, but I don't see it. But he texted me, said he was on, and
Hey, Chris. Oh, I see him.
oh, there he is. Chris is my manager, branch manager. I don't know if Clint, his brother, is going to join us. I'm going to give Clint a shout out. He's having an awesome month and year so far, and he always gives me a hard time when I don't give him a shout out. I owe all of my success to Clint Haynes. So there, it's. Hey, are you also recording this?
Oh, that's a great reminder. Let me just make sure that it is being recorded. Hold on. All right, it is being recorded.
Awesome.
Oh, it's good to.
Very good, very good. So, like I said, Clint Haynes, I owe all my success to. Just kidding. So no, Chris is one of my mentors. He's a branch manager. He's one of my mentors, and I can attribute, a ton of my success to Chris here over the last couple of years. Also, I'm part of a mentor coaching group that you're a part of as well, Mortgage Marketing Animals, and they are a blessing in my life as well. Help me increase my production. But I just want to first start off with Nina. I want to be respectful of those who have joined us here on time, and I want to just let everybody know, first of all, like, the GoToWebinar tools, or I don't know, if you have a question, there's a chat. Is that right, Nina?
Yep.
There's a chat box that you can ask questions in. There's also a raise your hand. So if you have a question, as we're going through this, we'll be looking for anybody that has a question. Nina will stop and ask if anybody has a question. You can raise your hand, and then we can unmute you, and you can ask your question, or you can just type it in the chat box. And then at the very end, there's going to be a Q&A. Is that right, Nina?
That's correct.
Awesome. So to get started, just wanted to say thank you for all of you who are taking the time to invest into your business. learn a little bit, maybe something new about Facebook ads that you haven't learned about or know about before. Nina's an awesome expert in this field, and I've learned so much from her. And I really think that y'all are going to get a lot of great information out of this. So, I've invited a lot of business people, business partners that I work with. I know in our office, Brandy, Chris, Clint, Alex, Daryl, Ben, and Jason are all part of our team, our loan officer team. And I know that they have invited their business people too. So there's going to be a group of people on here. And even if you've seen our ad, I wouldn't say our ad, but our post about this event on Facebook, and you've registered that way, and you don't really know who we are. We are all mortgage lenders, and all in the same office. And so if you guys ever have somebody that wants to buy, sell, or refinance, we'd love an opportunity to help you with that as well. I want to introduce to you Nina. So Nina is a digital marketing specialist who's been in the space for more than 8 years. So she's worked with businesses large and small, providing marketing deliverables for companies like Cisco and Microsoft, to managing social media accounts for small businesses around the country. Having graduated from the University of South Florida, she is now the digital marketing specialist for the Mortgage Marketing Animals, a private coaching firm for loan officers in the Tampa Bay area. So Nina, without further ado, I'd love for you to take it away and share with us your expertise.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mitch. Thank you so much for having me. And People's Home Equity, I really appreciate it. And it's nice to see everybody here. We really do have quite a bit of attendees here. So it's great to see you guys. So as Mitch said, my name is Nina, and I am a digital marketing specialist, and I am on the Mortgage Marketing Animals team, which is how I was even introduced to Mitch. And so we're going to dive into what I like to call the 3 secrets of Facebook ads. And so that's even if you've never run ads before on Facebook. So this isn't going to be like something that's super overwhelming or crazy. But for those of you who are in the mortgage and real estate industries, you may be familiar with Carl White, and he's the person that I work for. And he really put me on to some of these ways of advertising on Facebook specifically. So that's what we're going to get into. But before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody can hear us, they can see us. I'm going to share my screen here in just a minute. So just if the audio is a little wonky, let me know. I want to make sure that like everything's clear. So just type, yes, I can hear you, I can see you in the chat box. So I know we're good to go. Perfect.
That's
okay,
a good question.
Right.
I guess I probably should have led with that one.
It's all good, man. I figured we were starting to see some comments, so I just wanted to double check. I also want to get a feel for who I'm talking to here. So if you could answer this question, how many of you guys are currently running ads on Facebook? If you're currently running ads on Facebook, type the word ad in your chat box. All right. A nice handful. How many of you guys are thinking about running ads on Facebook? And if you are thinking about running ads, maybe you're not yet, just type future. Okay. Okay, so a nice mix of both. So that's cool. We're gonna get into a couple different things. So let me go ahead and turn on my screen. Let me pull up this presentation here. And I will share my screen. Hold, please. Technical difficulties. Where'd it go?
Yeah, and I think you can just, if you want to take your video off, Nina, you could probably just click the video button to, yeah, and I'll take mine off as well.
All right, guys. So can you still see my screen. You should see 3 secrets to Facebook marketing, even if you've never run ads before. Okay, all right, perfect. So, all right, so it looks like there's a nice little mix of both of you, people who have run ads on Facebook and those of you who are thinking about running ads on Facebook. So the first time you open up Facebook Ads Manager and you see like this screen, I know that can be extremely intimidating. There are a lot of buttons, there's data to analyze, and a lot of people opt to avoid running ads altogether, or they simply boost posts from their Facebook business page. But I promise you, if you become familiar with even just a few options here, it's not as scary as it appears. So that's what we're going to go over today, a few of the options on this platform that will allow us to get in front of even more people so that you have the opportunity to do even more business. So is that fair enough? If you guys are with me, give me a thumbs up, give me a yeah, something like that. Awesome. Cool. I like engaging on these presentations. So I'm going to ask you guys a lot of questions. So just get familiar with your chat box. On that note, I do want to ask another question. How many of you guys are already getting leads from some other source? So I know quite a few of you on here are real estate agents. So how many of you are getting leads through, let's say, Zillow or Bold Leads, Boomtown, things of that nature? If you're getting leads from somewhere else, just type the word leads in the chat box so I know that you are.
Other than referrals, correct?
Correct. All right, cool. Okay, so quite a few of you are generating leads or gathering leads, sourcing leads from other resources. So we're going to talk about how you can get leads and get in front of more people via Facebook as an agent. But before we create our first campaign, we need to get an understanding of how Facebook works. So the first thing is you have to have a personal Facebook account. Then if you have a personal Facebook account, then you have access to what's called a personal ads manager. However, and some of you might be familiar with that already. However, what we want to do is make sure that you have what's called a business manager account. So let me just pull this over. We want to make sure that you have a business manager account. So I want you to write that down if you're not familiar with that already. You need to get a business manager account so that you can run ads for your business through your Facebook business page. And just so that we're clear, your Facebook business page looks like this, something similar to this. So obviously it probably looks a little bit nicer than my little test page. But you have your profile picture here, cover page, all of the tabs. So like home, post, reviews would be on this tab here on the left. And then here in the center is where you can create your posts, pictures, videos, things of that nature. So if you don't have a business page yet, that is step number one. Get a business page so that we can start running ads effectively.
And Nina, the business page, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, full of a ton of content, right? I mean, we just need the business page in order to create the business manager page.
That's
correct?
it exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly it. We just need it as an element in order to create our ads. So please don't focus, especially for those of you who don't already have one created, please don't focus on like trying to get so much content on this, like it really doesn't even matter. So if you do have a business page, or okay, let's fast forward, you've created your business page, but you don't have a business manager account set up, that is going to be your next step. So in order, and I'm not going to get into the details of that because I do want to get into kind of the nitty gritty of running our ads. But if you want to create an a business manager account, you're going to want to go to this website, business.facebook.com. That's business.facebook.com. And when you do that, or when you go to that particular part of Facebook's website, Facebook will walk you through the next steps. Again, before you can even do that, you need to have this business page set up so that we can then create our business manager account. And so that's what you're going to see on the back end. That's what we're going to kind of dive into here. So I wanted to make sure to kind of start us off that way. So simply for time, I'm going to go through this presentation and then give time for Q&A at the end, kind of like Mitch mentioned at the beginning. So if you have questions as I go through anything, please write them down, raise your hand so I know at the end to call on you so we can address your questions. Is that fair? Cool. All right. So just to reiterate, if you need a business page and or a business manager account, for those of you who don't, those are the first two steps before running ads on Facebook. We cannot create a solid campaign before having those two things in place. So I'm gonna move forward and assume that you guys have your business page already. Most of you do. And that's where you post your pictures, and some of you guys even boost posts on those pages. So let's talk about that for a minute. There's absolutely nothing wrong with boosting a post on your business page. But if our objective is to get our message and our brand in front of as many people as possible, boosting a post is going to limit us. So you can boost a post to your Facebook fans. You can boost a post to your fans and their friends, and you can even target people who live in a certain geographical location and narrow in on a particular age range. But I'm going to talk to you guys about custom audiences here in a minute. And we won't be able to run our ads to our custom audience if we are simply boosting a post. And so there's kind of this great debate between online marketers or just businesses in general who are running ads on Facebook. And they're like, well, what's wrong with boosting a post? Really, there's nothing wrong with boosting a post. So anybody who says there's an issue with that, there's no issue. There are just limitations. So that's really all they're talking about. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you guys here in just a second, again, custom audiences, we don't have that luxury if we're just boosting a post. And so trust me, for those of you who are generating leads from other sources, you are definitely going to want to use custom audiences.
Can I chime in here real quick, Nina?
Absolutely.
So I just want to emphasize, custom audiences is where it's at, guys. So really what it does is there's lead generation, right? And I'm sure she's going to touch on this a little bit. There's lead generation, which is just, getting an ad out there to try to just generate leads. And then there's just trying to stay in front of your people, right? Your past clients, business partners, people that you work with. And the custom audience is where it's at when it comes to staying in front. And just staying top of mind. So that's where I think the bread and butter is with this. So I'm excited for Nina to go over that.
Oh my God, that's it exactly. So I'm going to go into all of that, Mitch. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're going to talk about, and that's why custom audiences is such a big deal. And it's surprising that not a lot of people talk about it, but that is the secret number one. So why Facebook ads? Well, Facebook ads, as most of you guys know, is fairly inexpensive. There's a low barrier to entry, and we can focus on detailed targeting. So as far as spending is concerned, and I do want to kind of get a couple of things out of the way before we dive in super deep. But as far as spending is concerned, you'll want to dedicate part of your lead gen budget to Facebook ads. And how much you spend per month is totally up to you and the structure of your business, but you can spend, if you don't know, you can spend as little as $5 on an ad if you wanted to, and you can spend $5,000 on an ad if you want to. It's up to you, but it does help if you know how much you're spending per lead, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. But just as far as spending, like how much should I spend on ads, like that's entirely up to you. We, in our firm, believe that you should spend at least $500 a month on advertising if you're going to be serious about Facebook ads. But again, it's entirely up to you and the structure of your business. So for those of you who are already familiar with Facebook ads, you may be familiar with detailed targeting. And this is what makes running ads on Facebook really cool, because you can type in somebody's interests. For example, if I wanted to find families who live in the state of Florida and may want to search for people who are interested in some of the theme parks here, like if I'm looking for families and I'm looking for families who live in Florida, I would search for people who are interested in, let's say, Disney World or Legoland or Busch Gardens. So I know many of you might be in Tennessee, but I'm in Florida, so I didn't know what was going on in Tennessee, so I'm gonna keep it to what I know. So Florida, those are the theme parks. If I'm looking for people with young children, typically they go to theme parks for the kids, right? So that's what's really cool about Facebook, because we can search in on people's interests, which is called detailed targeting on Facebook. And that's what made Facebook wildly popular. But about 6 months ago, they put an anti-discrimination policy in place, which makes certain industries identify themselves as special ad categories. And in the mortgage and real estate industries, we are a part of that new policy, unfortunately. But that's okay. So let's say you wanted to find new listing opportunities, but you only wanted to list in a certain neighborhood whose property value was between, let's say, 700,000 and like $1.2 million. You could narrow in on that zip code and only run ads to people in that area so that they could see it. But Facebook doesn't let us do that anymore, which brings me to the first secret, which we've touched on, which is custom audiences. So now, before we dive into custom audiences, I want to mention that most marketers will talk to you about generating leads on Facebook from cold traffic. That's what Mitch was just talking about. And while that does work, it takes a while to warm those leads up, which costs us time and money. And the conversion rate for those leads are kind of low, to be honest, like less than 4% most of the time. But when we focus on generating referrals and following up with the leads that we already have, it takes us less time to convert, and the conversion rate is much higher. And we've seen in our firm like as high as 30% in some cases. So rather than focusing on generating leads out of thin air, which again, you totally can do, it does work, but it takes a lot longer and the conversion rates kind of suck. So rather than focusing on that, I want to focus on the leads that you already have so we can continue to warm those people up and get them to raise their hand and say that they want to work with you. Is that fair? Are you guys with me? I know that was a lot. Where are we at, guys? I want to take a breather just to make sure that y'all are with me. So give me a yes or a thumbs up in the chat box here. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, cool. So with custom audiences, did you know that Facebook allows you to upload spreadsheets of data into their platform? So we're going to take the list that you already have and we're going to upload them into Facebook so we can target those people and get them to re-engage with you and finally start working with you. So here's what we're going to do first. First thing is we're going to gather all of your leads, whether you want to call those dead leads, your new leads, all of the leads. We want all of those leads and we want to put them in a folder on your desktop. And I would highly suggest that you segment your leads so that your messaging in your ads are highly targeted to each set of leads. So for example, if you have a set of leads who are interested in purchasing a home in downtown Tampa, then I want those leads separated from my people who are looking for a, ranch in Wesley Chapel, right? So as much as you can segment your list, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to get out of the presentation because I'm going to show you how to do this. So the first thing is gather all of your leads, put them in a folder on your desktop. Then we want to take, in a spreadsheet, we want to have the following columns. We want first name, last name, email address, and a cell phone number if you have it. So, okay. So in an Excel spreadsheet, we have first name, last name, email address, and ideally a cell phone number if you have it. If you have nothing else, we at least need the email address, or Facebook won't recognize this data at all. If you have more than this, that's totally fine. If you don't have a cell phone number, that's okay. But we're essentially trying to help Facebook help us, right? So many people have their cell phone numbers associated with their Facebook account. And if you think about it, you probably have your cell phone number associated with your personal Facebook account. So in a sea of, Facebook has, I believe it's like just under 2.5 billion with a B, billion monthly users. And really what we're trying to do is narrow down which John Smith in the world we're talking about. So again, we're trying to help Facebook help us. So as much data as we can provide about John Smith is ideal. If we have John Smith's cell phone number, that will pinpoint the John Smith we are talking about. Again, email address, that helps as well. It's about to open up my email. I knew it. Okay. Let's get out of this. Okay. So we want to pinpoint which John Smith on Facebook we're talking about, because I can guarantee you there are several. So cell phone number if you have it. If you don't, that's totally okay. But we do at least need an email address. You follow me? So these 4 columns are ideal. Again, if you have more than this, that's fine. If you don't have a cell phone number and you have an email address, that's fine. I kind of feel like I should pause here and see if there are any questions. Mitch, what do you think?
No, yeah, yes,
okay.
I agree.
All right. Cool. All right. So we have our spreadsheet, we have our columns, we have our information. Now what we're going to do is save this as a CSV file. Okay. CSV file. So go down to save as. In the format, we're going to, instead of it being an Excel spreadsheet, it's going to be the CSV file, which is the comma separated values or something like that. So I've already saved this as a CSV, so I'll exit out of here. And then again, going back to why we need to have that business manager account set up ahead of time so that we can actually do this, we are going to go to our business manager account. And so to get to your business manager account, you would type in business.facebook.com. Here it is highlighted, business.facebook.com. And it will bring up your ad accounts. It'll bring up your Facebook business page that's associated with this particular ad account, so on and so forth. You are looking for the menu button. And so currently, and here's the other thing, Facebook changes its user interface, like it seems like every other month. So your backend dashboard may not look like this. It's likely to look like this, but things change all the time with Facebook. That's just kind of how that goes. But you're looking for your menu button. And once you find your menu button, we're looking for audiences. Right now, it lives under the assets category. And when you click on audiences, it will take us to the audiences dashboard. And we're looking to go to creating a new audience, or a custom audience rather. So reach the people who matter to you. So custom audiences. So we're going to create a custom audience. This pop-up should pop up on your screen. If it does not, that likely means that you need to tweak something within your business manager account, and you can simply go to Facebook support desk for that. So the customer support staff will help you with whatever it is that you need help with. But for most of you, this is exactly what you're going to see. So create a custom audience. You're going to go to customer list, prepare your customer list. So this is just giving you information about the values and the columns and how your spreadsheet needs to look in order for Facebook to recognize the information that you're sending it. So we're good to go there. We'll click next. This screen, I always opt for no. This is asking if you have a column with customer value or like the lifetime value of a customer. I didn't add that to my column, so I'm just going to click no. And we'll click next. And here's where we can upload our list. So you can upload your file. Here's my list. You can name your list. Again, if you have your list segmented, which again, I would recommend, you can call this downtown Tampa leads, or Wesley Chapel leads, or whatever you need to name this. You can name your audience for that. And then you would click next. And now Facebook needs to identify the columns. So you'll see the green check mark here or the yellow exclamation mark here. So we have 0 mapped out, which we want our map outs to exist. So I'm going to type, this one is going to be identified as first name.
So it's
going to be identified.
Nina, it's just taking a look at your Excel file, and it's saying, I see these columns, they're named these, what do they apply to? And now you're just selecting that so Facebook knows.
Correct.
Got it.
So do not upload. So as we have like our first name, our last name, our email, and then our phone number, and then we'll go ahead and upload. That's okay. Oh, crap. It didn't recognize my, that's okay. It didn't recognize my
This is good because now
spreadsheet.
we can see how you problem solve this if somebody's experiencing the same thing.
So let me go back to, actually, let me cancel this and go back to my spreadsheet. Okay, so I'm going to just make sure that this is saved as, yeah, it's saved as. All right, so let's try this one more time.
Do you have to have a phone number in the column or no? No value?
No.
Okay.
You don't. But you do need to have an email address.
Got it.
The other thing that I would suggest is it's recognizing my columns as a little bit wonky. So what did I do wrong here? What if I take this out? The other thing that I would suggest, if you could have a list of at the very least, like no lower, seriously, no lower than 100 people, Facebook can identify it. I would suggest if you could have a list of like 300 to 500 people, if not more than that, so that Facebook can recognize as many people on your list as possible. So there's another statistic out there that says Facebook identifies anywhere between 30 and 60% of the people that you show it as you're uploading your custom audience. So if you have a list of, let's just say 1,000 people, Facebook's not going to recognize all 1,000 people on that list. So on a good day, it'll recognize 600 people, but generally somewhere between 300 and 600 people is how many people it would recognize on your list. So keep that in mind as well as you're uploading your list. So if you have a list of 100 people, it's not going to recognize all 100 people. So your ad won't be served to all 100 of those individuals, but maybe somewhere between 30 and 60.
And I would definitely not hesitate to continue to do it if, like, let's say you just want to focus on your past database and you only have 75. I'd say still put them in there and get it out. Don't keep that from, letting you get it out. But it's more effective because it's not going to find, like you said, not everybody's going to have a Facebook page, and it might not even if they do, it might not find them. So it's more effective with larger lists, but don't let it keep you from using smaller lists. If you have
Agreed.
a smaller list.
Agreed. You still want to get in the habit of uploading your list. All right, there we go. So it's identifying my email address and it's identifying my phone numbers. And now I just want to call out first name and last name. And now we have all 4 of my columns mapped out. No more actions need to be taken. So now I'll upload and create. Now, obviously, this is just a test, and I only had 2 rows filled out here. Even if you have, let's say, 3,000 on your list, or 30, or 300, or however many, it typically takes about 30 seconds for Facebook to go through all of the rows, and then it'll tell you how many rows it uploaded. And now you are redirected to the backend dashboard for your audiences. And this is what you're looking for, the availability column to say ready. And this just means that now you have officially uploaded your custom audience, and now you can run ads to this particular list. Again, I would segment my lists so that I can run ads specifically to, let's just say, downtown Tampa leads, or Wesley Chapel leads, or the people in my past database, my referral partners. Have your list segmented so that your messaging in your ads are very specific to that audience. That's really important as you're trying to convert leads, especially online. So are we good? Are y'all still with me? Okay. So I see a couple of questions coming in. Did you say you can find their cell on Facebook? Not necessarily. So no, I didn't say that. If there are myriads of ways that you can find people's cell phone numbers, but typically they're not just, you can't just find them on Facebook. That's something that you have to ask for, or yeah, I won't get into lead buying. You can do that elsewhere. I don't have audience under my assets tab. So look for audience somewhere else. Again, the user interface could be different from mine, but audiences is still going to be there. So you're looking for audiences.
Yeah, it should be under that drop down right up there by the Facebook button, that little those 3 dots. Yeah, it should be under there, and then you got to go to audiences under, yeah, right there. So it should show up there, because it does on mine.
And yeah, Rebecca, if your interface looks different than this, because I have seen a few where it's it's different. Audiences may not live under assets, but it lives somewhere within your menu. So
I
you are looking for.
I wonder if she's under her personal, or make sure she's under on the where it says My Mortgage Company, right of the search. That maybe she might be on a different account, and that account doesn't have. It's like where you can only boost posts, because I know if my business, there's like 2 separate accounts that I have, and one's like the business page, and it only allows for like tracking the boosts, and then there's the actual ad account.
Gotcha. So Rebecca, we'll circle back with you too.
I noticed Chris
All
Haynes
right.
has a question here too that said, what if you have two different email addresses for somebody? Do you upload
I
both
would add
somehow?
both. Yep. I just created another column. And I know there, so I'm not a spreadsheet wizard, but I know there is, crap, I don't even remember what it's called, if it's like a macro or some type of automation via your Excel that will allow it to generate multiple columns and separate values that are in the same column. So let's say you purchased a list somewhere else, and in one cell there are 2 or 3 different values. If you want to separate that out, you guys got to Google it because I don't know how to do it. But I know that that's a thing that exists if you have multiple emails.
It looked like that somebody responded to Rebecca saying Peter Richard had said they have to click on the catalog first, then it will give the audience option. And maybe that's what I just told you. I don't know what catalog is, but maybe try that, Rebecca.
Okay.
Kathy Street says hers was under promote on the left-hand side.
Thank you guys for sharing this insight.
And then, yeah, and then Larry Oldham said log the prospect twice using each email address. That's what I was actually going to suggest, that you could just put two rows, right, with the same name and number, but the different email addresses.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Again, we're trying to help Facebook help us.
Yes.
So
absolutely. And
awesome.
if you guys have any problems, because sometimes it's hard to find the Facebook Ads Manager, like what we're looking at right now with what Nina's on, and a lot of times it's just easy. It's just to Google Facebook Ads or Facebook Business Manager, and then you will see one of the first links on there will take you to your Business Ads Manager.
I would suggest highlighting this website. So business.facebook.com.
There you go.
Is your business manager account. So once you click on this, and I'm a part of a few different accounts. So this is my test one, but I'm a part of a couple of other accounts. So this is what you'll see, your backend dashboard. And so it says business manager here. This is my menu button. And then this is where I can access the rest of our dashboards within the business manager. So business.facebook.com is the website you're looking for. Fair enough?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. So, so we were talking about uploading your list. Make sure I go into the right page. All right. So we were talking about uploading your list and running ads to these people specifically. That's not what I wanted to do. So let's go back here. Running ads to the people in that audience. Now, this is what you can do. You can start creating a campaign and running an ad to that audience specifically. Again, going back to what Mitch had talked about, which is really trying to warm up that audience, warm up that list of people that or leads that you have, and staying top of mind. So if we go to our ads manager, I'll show you how you can do that with the list that we just uploaded. And then we'll get into our secret number 2. All right, so we've uploaded our list. Now we're ready to create our first ad or run our first campaign. So we'll click create. And for our industry, honestly, with the type of ads that we suggest, you would create an ad with the consideration or the ad objective, the campaign objective being traffic. But a few different objectives that you can run that work for us: brand awareness, traffic, video views, lead generation, and conversions. All of those have very different algorithm sets in Facebook, and I won't get into like the details of all of that, but traffic is the one that works the best for us. We've also found a lot of success with lead generation and video views if you have a video that you're sharing. Traffic is our number one that we go to. Conversion, if we're actually kind of tracking how much we're spending per lead, and we can see from the very beginning to the end a particular purchase. That's not always the case. They're typically offline conversions, so traffic tends to be our best performing campaign objective. Oh crap, let me go back to this one so I can show you guys exactly how to do this. Who else's internet is super slow?
Hey, while you're doing that, Tracy Huff had asked a question about, if you had a custom list that you uploaded about like a year ago, will Facebook start targeting the people that on that list that have maybe recently engaged in your Facebook account, like in the last 10 days? Does it target those people first? Or how does that work? Do you know? I think that's Tracy's
not
question.
Necessarily. That's I think that's more along the lines of the pixel, which is something else that I wanted to talk about. So Facebook, when you are running ads to a specific audience, it's going to run ads to those people that Facebook recognizes in that audience. If you're looking to run ads to people who like engaged with your website or anywhere that you have the pixel located, that's where you can set, okay, if they've engaged with us in the past 10 days or the past 3 months or something along those lines, that's where the pixel comes in. So
Gotcha.
Just uploading your list is totally fine, whether you uploaded it a year ago, 3 years ago, or yesterday. Facebook will just start running ads to that audience, so long as it recognizes it.
Good deal.
Okay, so you guys saw that I uploaded a list. What I had to do is go into another ads account simply because the Mortgage Co test account is not properly set up yet, and that's just totally my fault. But once you go into creating a campaign, you would go into the ad set level. So there are 3 different levels. There's the campaign level, which we set our objective, which is traffic. Then we have our ad set level, which allows us to tell Facebook, hey, I want you to run ads to this type of a person, or in this particular case, I want you to run ads to this particular audience. And then our ad level, which is, hey, Facebook, I want my ad to look like this. So right now we're in the ad set level, and I'm going to tell Facebook to run ads to a very custom audience, which we uploaded. And so let's just say it was this one. You will now have the opportunity to type in the custom list that you just uploaded. So you can type it in here and Facebook will recognize it. So on this particular ad account, we have several different custom lists. So you can pick one. Your backend will look the same.
Nina, can you run an ad to a custom list and a general population, like a targeted area, at the same time, or does that have to be 2 separate ads?
That can be, that needs to be 2 separate audiences if you want to separate it, or you can, so to answer your question, yes, that has to be 2 separate ad sets,
Gotcha.
so that they are two different audiences.
Got it.
Okay. and then you would click continue, and you'd move on to now the ad level, which is telling Facebook, hey, I want my ad to look like this. And that goes into my second secret, which is attention grabbing posts. So your very first goal when you are beginning to run ads on Facebook is to get the user to stop their scroll. And I was reading that it's really a rumor. This isn't like an official stat or anything like that, but I was reading a rumor that the typical social media user scrolls the equivalent of 300 feet per day, which, to put that in perspective, that's the height of the Statue of Liberty, including the base, which is insane. But what we're trying to do, so basically, users on Facebook are in the habit of scrolling, and what we're trying to do is to grab their attention. And there are 4 principles to follow this to grab their attention. So one is calling out your audience. The second is using or addressing their pain points. The third is using a clear, focused, and attention-getting visual. And then the fourth is using a summarized headline. So if I go back here, I just want to show you what I'm talking about. So running ads on Facebook is what I like to call a disruptor. No one on Facebook is specifically looking for a real estate agent or a loan officer in our case. About 90% of the time, someone is on Facebook to be entertained. They're watching funny videos, they're looking at their pictures of their sister's kids, and just fun stuff. So as your ads are being served and causing a disruption from what they're doing or viewing, what you want to do is call them out so that so that they know that you're talking to them. And so that's addressing the first principle, which is calling out your audience. So we're trying to attract our ideal audience. So for example, calling out your audience could be something along the lines of like, hey, if you were planning on buying a home in the next 3 months, blah, 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 whatever. Or if you plan on selling your home soon, ... Or, hey, calling all first-time home buyers. Or, are you an empty nester and looking to downgrade? ... Or, are you tired of renting and you want to purchase your first home? Whatever the message needs to be. So we're really just trying to call out our audience. And these are like super simple examples, but you can get really creative here. It's just the point is we want to attract our ideal audience, and quite honestly, we want to repel people who are not a part of our audience. So if you are looking for empty nesters, call those people out. An empty nester is very different from someone who's purchasing their first home, right? So the second principle is addressing their pain points, and addressing the pain points in the environment that we currently find ourselves in could look like asking frequently asked questions. And those frequently asked questions could be something along the lines of, are you wondering if it's still a good time to purchase a home in this environment? What does the real estate market look like right now? Should you invest in real estate right now? Things of that nature. So you can ask those types of questions because it's likely that those are the questions and conversations that people are having right now amongst themselves and their families and friends, and addressing their concerns keeps them engaged with your content. So I would suggest gathering 5 to 10 frequently asked questions that you can call out in your captions that will position you as the expert that this consumer needs to turn to in order to get their questions answered, right? And then the third principle is using a clear, focused, and engaged visual. Now, depending on what you're offering, your visual could look different. But in this scenario, I have a professional image or a video of a listing, or you could have an image or a video of yourself. And I created a couple of samples. So in both of these examples, I'm showing that they're videos. And I'm doing that because Facebook highly favors video. It will push out your content if you have video. So I would highly recommend you guys using video if you have it. If not, an image is fine, but Facebook favors video. So use video as much as possible. It would get more eyes on your ads. So again, just calling out our audience. So, are you planning on selling your home in the next 6 months? Question mark. This free quiz will share your home's current estimated value. Find out the value of your home here. And here we are with a call to action. We have the link. Once they click on the link, they will then go to your website. This would do the very same thing if this was an image. All right. And then the fourth principle is highlighting and using a summarized headline. So what's your home really worth? You really want to summarize what it is that we're talking about here in the caption, because not everybody's going to read this. And you may have heard about long form content versus short form content. And of course, you can test all of this, what's going to work best for your audience. So I would test it. If long form content works best, and there's a whole paragraph here, and that's what your audience relates to and engages with well, then continue to do that. If short form content, like the example here, works best for your audience, then continue to do that. And then just summarize what it is you're talking about, so that as people are looking at it on their mobile device, because not everybody's going to read the caption, they can at least see, oh, okay, this is something that I want to engage with. Let me take a look at the video. Or, oh, this is a cool picture. What's this about? All right, well, where's the link? Let me click on this. That kind of a thing. Are we good? Are y'all still with me? Okay, so Scott asked, will you please restate the 4 principles? Yes, I will. So, excuse me, the 4 principles. Number 1, calling out your audience. Number 2, addressing their pain points. 3, using a clear, focused, and getting visual. And so the visual could be a photo or a video. And then 4, use a summarized headline. And now, as far as your video is concerned, if you decide to go with a video, there are different rules or regulations, if you will, for how long your video should be. I would suggest if you have if you're running an ad and you're creating a video, that your video is no longer than 3 minutes. Like, and 3 minutes is pretty long. So if you can shorten it up to like 30 seconds, that would be great. For your ads specifically. So ideally it's like 30 seconds long, but no longer than 3 minutes if it needs to go longer than 30 seconds. If you have a longer long form video where, we're hosting a webinar or some type of meeting or something like that, where it's going to be, 30 minutes to an hour long, don't let that be an ad. That needs to just be a Facebook Live or a video that lives on your Facebook business page or your personal account, that kind of a thing. Don't let that be an ad, because that's just, it's not going to work. All right. On the video, can it be one you pull from another site, like a tourist one? I would not do that because that's copyright infringement. So I would, whatever visuals you're using, make sure that, and you know what, that's a really great point, Sarah. So whatever visuals that you're using, make sure that you either have the rights to use it, you have the license to use it, which means that you paid for a stock photo or video to use it, or it's your own content that you created, or someone on your team, or in-house that you created, because Facebook will penalize you if they see or begin to get reports that you quote unquote stole visual content. That's very important, and your Facebook account could be banned, or you could be put in Facebook jail, as we like to call it, which is no good. So make sure that any type of content that you use is that you have the rights and the license to use it.
Hey,
All
hey,
right.
Nina.
So, yep.
Real quick, I know that we're coming up here on noon, and we allotted for an hour for this, but I'm okay to keep going. I would like to keep going if you have the time, Nina. Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, I feel like this is really engaging and a lot of good info here, and I don't want to just stop it. So I'm cool with keeping going. So.
All right. Well, I'll breeze through the next part very quickly, and then we'll open it up for Q&A so we can
Oh, that's
get
fine.
everybody's questions answered.
Perfect.
All right. So, again, just I would suggest you guys gather 5 to 10 FAQs so that you can actually address people's concerns or issues or their problems in your copy. And call out your audience. Those are my two favorite parts of the 4 principles. All right, so secret number 3 is using the Facebook pixel. All right, using the Facebook pixel. So the Facebook pixel is your best friend on Facebook, and the pixel is a piece of code that you can place on your website, and it collects data that helps you track conversions from Facebook ads. It allows you to optimize those ads, build targeted audiences for future ads, and remarket to people. So we use the Facebook pixel all the time, and we use it even more for retargeting ads. So having this pixel installed on your website is very important, and it's going to allow you to see if you've converted someone from your Facebook ad. So again, like I was saying before, with those different conversion or campaign objectives, you have like traffic, video views, lead generation, brand awareness, and conversion. Conversion is the one where you're really heavily going to use the Facebook pixel in order to see those end results. And I go into our Facebook Business Manager account again, going to the menu button in order to generate a Facebook pixel. And everything that I'm talking about here is free. So you'd go to Pixels. I'll click Custom Conversions here. And these are some of the pixels that we're currently using. So if I wanted to, that's not what I want to do. Okay, here it is. So under your Events Manager, so click on Events Manager and then Setup and then Install Pixel. And this is where Facebook is going to generate the pixel for you or the code for you. You can manually add this pixel code to the back end of your website if you know how to do that. Obviously, you could bring in a third party, or if you have someone on your team who knows how to do this, they can do it for you as well. The thing that I like that Facebook recently implemented is that they've partnered with a lot of different websites so that there is an easier way to integrate the pixel onto your website. If you don't have a pixel on your website, please do this. If you have access to a website that you own or a landing page that you own or a blog site that you own, if you don't have the pixel, you can still run ads on Facebook, but you'll get a lot more data and a lot more information about whether, like how much you're actually spending on your ads, how much it's costing you per lead. It's just going to give you so much more data that would be applicable for you as you are figuring out what your budget should be and all that good stuff. So I'm going to wrap it up there so we can go ahead and open it up for Q&A so this doesn't go even longer than it has. Mitch, does that sound good to you?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Such good information here. The pixel thing is, I'm so glad you explained that because that's something I've been seeing, but I haven't engaged with. And I could see the benefits of using that because you can kind of start narrowing it down to maybe people that are engaging with you and knowing that these are people that you want to, you want to stay in front of even more. So I could definitely see the benefit of that. There was a question that I had seen on here. I'm trying to look for it again that I wanted to make sure we got to because they'd asked this question a little bit ago. Speak of the frequency. So one big thing that statistic that you have taught me, Nina, is to pay attention to your frequency. And can you explain what frequency means? And then what is the ideal frequency when running an ad? And when that tells you basically when you should probably then take it down and maybe refresh, put something new up.
Absolutely. So one of the measurements that you can see on your dashboard for your ads on your ads manager dashboard is what's called frequency. And so frequency is how often is someone being served your ad and how often are they seeing it. And so all of you are on Facebook, so you know what I'm talking about. You've seen the same ad like 5 times, right? The same ad 5 different times. The frequency is 5 for you in that instance. And at that point, once we get past like the 4 mark, we want to go ahead and start changing our creative or our copy. So you can refresh your ad in a few different ways, actually. You can simply change the visual and keep the copy the same, the caption the same, and the headline the same. You can change the caption and the headline and keep the visual the same, or you can change everything and just start brand new. And the reason you want to do that is because of what's called ad fatigue. And I would imagine a lot of you, if not all of you, have experienced this as well. You've seen the same ad over and over and over again. And after the 3rd or 4th time of you seeing it, you're like, okay, whatever, I've seen that before, and you disengage. So that ad no longer, like, it doesn't do anything for you because you're not engaging with it at all. And we don't want that to happen because Facebook's going to continue to charge us for the fact that, those ads are being placed and people are seeing the ad. So we want to make sure that we're staying in front of our audience, but we also want to make sure that they're engaged with our content. So once we get to that 4 frequency, we want to go ahead and refresh our ads. And again, you can do that 3 different ways, like I talked about.
And by refreshing it, are you simply saying, stop that ad and then duplicate it? Because I know you can duplicate an ad and then change the copy or the creative part of it. But or are you just saying go into that ad and edit that specific ad and keep it running?
So I was taught by the great Chris Johnstone that you should never edit the ad itself. That you should always duplicate the ad and edit that new ad.
Perfect. That's awesome. And then one other thing I wanted to touch on before we just go open it up for questions is the fact that, the custom audience is great. Like you really covered it very, very thoroughly and well with your, lead gen. Like if you had leads from another source in order to stay in front of those leads, that's awesome. Another way to use it is if you have a past, your true blue past clients, right? You have a list of these past clients, names, phone numbers, emails. You upload that as a past client database and custom audience, and a couple things, ways to like market towards those people, because those are the people that already know you, like you, but if they bought a home from you 5 years ago and they or whatever industry you're in, they used you 5 years ago, they may remember they used you but can't remember your name. can't remember your phone number. And so just having something that constantly just kind of pops up is, and it's fresh and new, maybe every week, is always good, just to stay top of mind with those people that already know, like, and trust you and have used you. And kind of like a theme that I've been taught, and I need to really start, using this, but essentially like having theme days. So like Monday would be like a motivational Monday. Tuesday would be technology Tuesday. Wednesday would be wild and wacky Tuesday, like a funny YouTube video or something like that. Thursday would be like a thoughtful thought, thoughtful Thursday. And then Friday would be like fun facts. Just asking something totally random, like what's the fastest mammal on Earth, or whatever, just something fun and a fun fact there. So that's just kind of something that I've been mentored on as well, in order for you just to easily think, oh, it's Tuesday, so that's Technology Tuesday. Let me share something that I've learned that's new in technology, and just put it out there to my past database. So they're just constantly seeing me, and I'm engaging with them that way. So that's just something I wanted to just kind of throw out there here at the end.
The really cool thing about that, Mitch, and everybody else who's listening on the call, is that, and Carl says this a lot, I'm a real person just like you. People are doing business with you, the individual, yep. Right? And so to stay top of mind and to let people know that you're a real person and you hang out, and hey, I'm a local too, and here's what I'm interested in, or here's what I'm learning, or whatever, you're helping to build that trust. So you talked about the know and they know you, they
like
like
and trust,
you.
right? Yep.
So now this is helping to continue to build that relationship online, which is awesome. So awesome.
Well, and it's kind of like, people will say, man, I see you everywhere. Well, that's because you have your phone in your hand everywhere you go, right? And you're scrolling through. You might be in line waiting for coffee. I know these days we're all hunkered down, but that's kind of the thing, is like, hey, you're out and about and all over town, that kind of thing normally. And when you jump on Facebook, wherever you're at, and you see that person, it's going to feel almost like you see them everywhere. Yeah, that's really good. I think, hey, do you want to go ahead and share your webcam, and then we can just take questions?
Perfect.
All right. So questions, anybody, you can either raise your hand. If you type it in, it's kind of hard for me. Do you have an easy way to read the newest questions?
If you guys just type in the word question in the chat box, I'll know to unmute you. That would be super helpful. So I don't see anybody raising their hand. So Kathy's saying, thanks so much for this information. I have to leave for another call. Thank you so much, Kathy. Larry, looks like Larry has the question. So let me find Larry and unmute you. So guys, if you're mic'd up, go ahead and get your microphones out. So Larry, let's see here. Larry, are you mic'd up? Larry, can you hear me?
Let's see, where's Larry at on here?
Hmm.
What's Larry's last name?
So he's Oldham. Oh,
there he is. Oh yeah, we've got his mute. He's unmuted. Oh, he said. He said he's been advertising on Facebook for some time and always used lead generation. Can you explain again why you recommend using traffic?
So we use traffic simply because that's the objective that we've found the most successful with our cost per lead, and actually generating, like, we're trying to reach as many people as possible, and we're trying to reach new people, and lead gen, simply because it's a newer objective, it's compared to like brand awareness or traffic, it just hasn't given us the same amount of success as traffic has.
So So Nina, when you do lead gen, I know there's always like a call to action, right? So these ads have a call to action. The call to action on lead gen is click here to sign up or register, or to see more information. You've got to put in your, your name and phone number, and then it will populate into a list for you to have then in Excel to download into an Excel list. But for traffic, it's usually sending you to like a destination, like a website, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And from there,
Yeah,
you might
and
have
then
lead gen. Is that right?
yes, so that is correct. So the other part of traffic for us, because we have the pixel in every single place that we are directing the user, we could then do retargeting ads from our pixel.
That's awesome.
So yeah, people, and again, we do lead gen campaigns, which they do work for us. They're just not, they don't work as well as traffic. And we can't retarget people in the same way that we could via traffic using the pixel. And we retarget people. So
Makes perfect sense.
it looks like Lindsay has a question. Let me see if I can unmute Lindsay. Lindsay, are you mic'd up?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I was following along through everything pretty well until we got to pixels. I'm just trying to understand or wrap my head around what exactly that is. I get what it does and that it's capturing all this information and why we need it, but when you went into pixels and you wanted to add a pixel to your ad, I guess, I don't understand what I'm adding. Is it something that I have to download, or is it something that I have to get from somewhere, or I just click add it and it's there? Like, I don't understand what I'm adding.
So when we add our pixel, or when we're trying to generate a pixel, so if I just click on this one, we want this piece of code to go on the back end of our website or your landing page or wherever you're sending a potential user. So we put this code everywhere. Anything that we have ownership of, our website, our blog site, our podcast site. We use a third-party landing page service called Lead Pages. We add our pixel to everything. So this is all you're adding. You're not actually adding it to an ad. You're just adding it to any destination that you're going to send someone to.
And did you get that from Facebook, or you got it from somewhere else and had to bring it to Facebook ads?
We get
Ad
it
manager.
from Facebook. So when you are in your business manager account, you're going to go to the events manager. And then once you click on that, it'll take you to this page. And we already obviously have a pixel set up, which is why our backend looks like this. But to get started, if you don't have one set up already, you're going to click setup, install pixel. And that's when this pop-up will pop up for you. And you can click manually add the pixel is what I've always done, but they've recently added this partner integration. So you can click on this one. And if you have, let's say, a WordPress site or a Wix or a Squarespace site, you can integrate with those services as well. Facebook will walk you through literally step by step. I think there are like 5 or 6 different steps for it to be integrated to your backend.
And then when you are doing your ad, creating your ad, there's an option to add your pixel account, right? Is that right?
Say that, ask that one more time.
When you're creating your ad, isn't there a section to select pixel, add your pixel account to that ad?
Yes, but that's something like completely different.
Completely different. Okay.
That's for third party. Yeah, that's for third party websites that are truly tracking like everything that you're doing.
Okay, so what you're saying is if you were able to add this pixel code, right, to your website, and you had traffic that came to your website, here on your business manager pixels, this events manager overview, you will actually see the statistics from your website that pixel pulls. And then from there, you can pull an audience.
Yes.
Got it. That's
So
cool.
for anyone who's familiar with like Google Analytics and traffic from your Google Analytics account, this is the same thing on Facebook. And you can generate audiences, you can create an audience like you see here using your pixel. And that goes back into what we were talking about earlier about those custom audiences. So we talked about uploading a list of people that you already have loaded in a spreadsheet. Now that you have your pixel uploaded, people who visited your website, you can create an audience based on people who visited my website, people who visited my website in the last 10 days, people who visited a particular page on my website. If they've gone to, let's say, I only want to target people who've listened to my podcast and they went to this page on my website, I only want to send ads to those people. You can do that as well.
Okay, so once you manually add the pixel or however you decide to add it, whether it's manual or not, it's just there for good. You don't have to manage that. And every time you go in to create a new ad, you need to add the pixel on the back end each time, correct?
You don't have to add it on the back end each time. Everything.
Oh, okay. Once it's there, it's there.
So that's
Yep.
kind of like what you're saying. You do the traffic, right? So you're directing people. If they click your ad, it takes them to your website, and then now your website's capturing who's coming there from your ad because the pixel's part of your website. And then you go into this interface and you can see all the statistics of that.
Yep.
So you know how on your business Facebook page, it'll say, you know, you had 6 new views today. Will Pixel then pick up who those people are if they didn't come in through the ad, they just came to your page?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Does it break it down, Nina? Does it break it down saying this came from Facebook or this came from Google search or something like that?
That is found on other software services. I would highly recommend, if you don't have Google Analytics, to have Google Analytics installed as well, because you can see the different traffic broken down just like that. Like, this came from Facebook, this came from Instagram, this came from, you know, some other third party that you were affiliated with.
Got it. And then I think it's important also to note that, you know, you don't have to break the bank, right, to do these ads, right? You can post an ad to your past database and spend $3 a day. You can spend $5 a day, and run it for just a week. You know, and it's going to reach.
Insane how cheap.
What's that?
It's insane how inexpensive running ads on Facebook is. It's truly amazing. And it, like I said in the very beginning, people run ads on Facebook because of the low barrier to entry point and the price point. You can run, like you said, $3 a day on an ad. You can spend $5 if you want to. You can spend $5,000 if you want to, but you don't have to. And you can reach so many different people with, like, you know.
Yeah, and if you're paying attention to the frequency, you can then tailor. You can go back and edit and either increase or decrease the amount you spend. At one point, I was spending I think it was like $8 a day on an ad, and my frequency in 3 days was already to 7, and it was like, okay, I need to tailor that back to like $3 a day, because it was happening too fast. I want to run the ad longer. I'm reaching the same people too many times within only 3 days. So I think that is also a good point too, that it doesn't have to be expensive to do it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Any other questions, guys, before we wrap this up? I think there's some people that are saying, let's see, most recent thing. You covered pretty much everything. So if we didn't cover something, you know, you can reach out to us directly, and I'm going to be sharing this video, so I'll blast this video out. Actually, I think I have to host the video on a Google Drive, and then share the link to it. So if that is something that you want, you'll be getting an invitation to that, and you guys can rewatch it or whatever. And also, I've Facebook Lived this whole presentation on my my business page. So if you wanted to go in, go to Mitch Mallahan's business page, you can see it on there, or tell anybody you know that might be interested. You can rewatch it on there as well. So if you need anything, let us know. Nina, do you have anything to say to wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me here. This was awesome. It was great to meet all of you guys here on this class. And I know Mitch and everybody else at the People's Home Equity team, they're just fantastic. I've worked closely with like Sherry and Robin and Chris, and like everybody's great. So if you guys are looking to buy, refinance, or purchase a home, make sure to reach out to them. Or I know that they would love an opportunity to work with you guys. For anybody who's on here who's a real estate agent, so please reach out to them. They're a fantastic team. And Mitch, thank you so much for having me. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys being a part of the Mortgage Marketing Animals.
Well, thank you, Nina. I really appreciate you taking the time. Nina offered her time for free for this. So thank you all for joining, and appreciate you to take the time to come on board. And Nina, you take care, and we will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.